welcome everybody to the Edge Podcast, episode number 1. My name is Ben, and I'm here with my co-host Denise.
Hi guys.
And so I guess Denise, I guess you should start off by saying like what we're doing here. What is the Edge Show exactly? The podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast specifically for the Edge, we're going to be talking about news of the club, essentially talking about meetings, maybe what's going on behind the scenes a little bit, and the process we're going through as a club, as well as bringing in multiple different other hosts as they start their own shows and getting to know the club and just gathering interest from Bradley, and that's really it. I don't know how to explain it any better, but it's just a really nice, simple way to get to know us as a club.
Yeah, this show will. I feel a little loud in the microphone, so I'm gonna crank you up, and then hopefully we'll be at the same level. We're still working out all the studio kinks and whatnot. So yeah, the Edge Show, in a nutshell, is just plainly at first is going to be organization news, but we also think this would be a great show to get people on board that don't know exactly if they want to start a podcast or radio show, or are kind of behind the scenes but want at least to get some experience doing podcasts. So we'll have different hosts all the time, we hope, and just different ideas in general for the show. So that's what the Edge Show is. I guess our first topic we'd like to jump into is, what is the Edge? Because if you're listening to this, I'm guessing you are listen to it by a friend who maybe knows what the Edge is, or I don't know, maybe you stumbled onto this post on social media or whatnot. But the Edge was the campus radio station at Bradley University here in Sisson Hall. And for the past, and I'm going to do like a little recent history here, because I think in the future, another Edge show, we can do like a whole like big history of the Edge and bring in our faculty advisor who was part of it back in the 90s. So right now, or in the past 20 years, the Edge was kind of a smaller radio station here on campus, and it primarily just did radio streaming. And then I think they moved to doing like pre-recorded shows, but like posted online. So they weren't live 24/7, but they were still doing music and talk stuff here in the studio. But unfortunately, during COVID and kind of from my freshman year, 2019, there hasn't been as much activity. And so when the organization transitioned from, I guess, like the old seniors graduating to whoever was left in the club actually went inactive in presence. So which left us pretty much where we are right now, where we're trying to start things back up again. So our primary goal right now is to start up not with music, but with a primary focus in podcasts and just talk radio, because of the complications that music and just live broadcasts would bring to us. That's kind of our strategic mission at the moment. Long term is wherever the club's going to take us, or wherever the students in the club want to take the Edge. So, I mean, people can take it as far as doing actual live radio station with music, or maybe they'll probably keep it a podcast format. Who knows? So, remind me again, Denise, what year in school are you?
I'm a sophomore, so I'm graduating in 2024.
Nice. So you'll probably be with the Edge a little longer than me, but I guess, what do you think you want to be the Edge? Because right now, or what do you want the Edge to be? Because right now we're just doing podcasts.
I definitely like the idea of podcasts and such, just because that is where we are as a community right now. In a community, I mean like generation in the world. Mm-hmm. Like our generation of like 19 to 20 something year olds love podcasts. So this is definitely something good to stick with. And I think we might stay podcasts during like my ending years of college and such, just because I don't see that like going away and becoming a past fad anytime soon. But I can picture us definitely getting back into music, because that's one thing that'll never die, is music. So if we can get the podcast grown, or not the podcast, the Edge grown enough to where we can actually get back into music, that'll be a way to hopefully keep the club alive after you graduate, I graduate, and all current members graduate, in order to keep a nice part of Bradley connected to the outside world and the internet world as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we'll put a special emphasis on club duties and organizational transition, because that's essentially what led to the club being inactive. So that means we don't only need people here to provide us with content. We also need people to help with club operations. So that's pretty much our biggest focus right now, because at the moment it's pretty much honestly just you and I right now, but we hope to expand to a lot more people, especially when spring elections come up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. I have a few points on that. But definitely long-term vision, it's whatever the club wants. Like, I'd love to see them doing radio again, like with music. I don't know if they'll be able to broadcast like on the FM dial, but definitely internet streaming isn't complicated to set up anymore these days.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know other universities around here. I think Illinois State has a radio station too, and I think it would just be really cool to see something that we start now really carry forward into the future.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, especially because Bradley does have a lot of techie people. Like, we have a lot of really smart people on this campus. We got computer science, engineering. Like, if we could get them to hopefully see this episode and learn about our club, that'd make things so much easier for the future. Because I saw we already do have some people who signed up wanting to work behind the scenes and help us a lot, which, shout out to you few, you know who you are.
Yeah.
But that would definitely be a way to help keep this going. So definitely something to keep in mind, is we definitely need you little techie geeks, whatever you call yourselves.
Yeah, I'm a techie. I'm not gonna call myself a geek, but yeah, definitely. Like, I'm really interested in the technical aspect of everything, having everything meticulously tuned to work just fine with the microphone levels. Like, I already know it's not perfect. We still have to tune things. So yeah, we definitely need help in that aspect and creating content. Like, there's so much that we can do with what we have now, and then grow more through just what Bradley honestly provides organizations already.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I guess, like, looking ahead, we can let's talk about some ideas that we have in progress.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So I'm gonna start off saying that I want to I have a show in mind where it's going to be like a technology news show. So basically it's going to break down
we love cars outside of Bradley.
We love the loud cars that drive by, especially when we don't have we have to have the window open now because it's really hot in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you hear noises in the background like cars, that's just one of the aspects of the Edge. It's unique. But I was saying I was going to do a technology news show because I'm very into technology and have a different perspective on technology, being an MIS major. And so it's going to range from being like probably what like the latest technology news is and like that at the time, with maybe a bit of a deep dive into some of the stuff behind it. So like you could watch it like if you're just interested in knowing more about what that particular story was and maybe how that might impact you as a student or just any person in general. So that's my idea. What do you have to say, Denise?
Yeah, so that all sounds really fun. I'm excited because I don't really know a lot about technology. I am very much an old lady when it comes to technology. So I'm excited to listen to your podcast. And I know for me, I'm going to be doing a podcast on strange and interesting Bradley history. So, for example, I know my very first episode, I already got it planned out. I've done the research. I'm so excited. I'm going to be doing it on the Bradley Fire, which happened in like 1963, I believe it was, and not a lot of people know about it.
I knew about it. I have a picture for you. Do you have you seen the picture of Bradley Hall, like all iced over the day after?
No, I haven't.
I'll send that to you. It's on my desktop, actually.
Yeah, I know that's such a big part of Bradley history. Like, I know I work for the Bradley Fund, and I've spoken to alumni who were in classes when the fire started.
Whoa.
So I got some inside sources, and then I got some information on Lydia that just made me love Lydia even more, that I'll share more about in the podcast.
Wow.
And in other shows, I'll go into hauntings and just all that fun stuff we all love knowing a little bit about. Sometimes we get bored and just want to be freaked out.
Yeah. I'd definitely listen to that. I know so many people on campus, like faculty too, that would be interested in listening to that. So you got like I think you have a pretty big audience you can cover with that, and don't be afraid into digging into all sorts of stuff, because you can do all sorts of stuff with that topic. I love it. Also, I'm gonna pull up real quick the Google Doc to see what other people had in mind. Do you remember anything in particular that people said?
Yeah, I know we had a lot of people interested in doing music, because I was the one going through and making the Google Doc, and I highlighted similar things. So we definitely have people going to be doing music. I don't know if they want to do music reviews or what their plan is, so the mystery is exciting. We have lots of people wanting to do sports, specifically basketball, baseball, such like that. We had a few tech ones, and I know anime was on there, so all you guys in anime, we may have an anime podcast coming up, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. So, I see I'm the only one that highlighted tech, but I also said behind the scenes. I see a couple behind the scenes, actually probably just two other people. I see a lot of music on here, and although I said we can't specifically do like a music broadcast right now, it might have to happen later, we might still be able to do stuff like music review shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe something that's not like recorded, but maybe just for fun, like with your own group of people. Because when it comes to music, you have to have rights in order to broadcast it. But the one thing, going back to what I said about doing like a music review show or a highlight, is YouTube is where we're going to be hosting all of our main shows, and that's because it's free, and if we do music, it'll actually I don't have this exactly cleared yet, and I don't know too much about it, so this isn't like an official statement or anything, but they also handle any sort of copyright issues by just automatically putting ads over something you do. So if there is, like, you do cover a song, or if you do like report on a song or play part of a song, if YouTube deems that copyright infringement, they'll just put an ad over it, and it's nothing bad, or take it down. And essentially, nothing's going to come straight to us. It's going to go straight to YouTube first and handle it. So I don't think we have that worked out exactly yet, but that's definitely something we'll look forward to that's something we'll talk about at the, I guess, club meeting, and individually what people had in mind to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because I see some people say CDs or music, and then they put like CDs. Some people said music and art. I talked to one person that was interested in, actually, I think he or she designed album art for like albums, obviously not CDs because people don't have CDs anymore. But yeah, she like was interested in just looking at that. And I'm like, oh wow, I never thought of that. Like if you're in graphic design or something. Someone said geekdom. I have to look and make sure that email went through. Current events. Someone said anime, games. Yeah, gaming maybe. Rock. So that's music again. And there's a sports category. like basketball, sports. I think definitely my freshman year, I noticed that there was one or two sports podcasts here that were being recorded here at the Edge. So if people want to get involved with that, especially if you're like a sports communication major, hey, we've got this studio here for you. So, come on down and get started on something that you're, studying on in class, I guess. Get some experience for sure.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing to remember about the Edge is a lot of us are going to be new. So even if you're like, oh, I've never done a podcast before, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Me too. I don't know what I'm doing either.
Same.
So this is a great way to just come in and practice and maybe get some outreach. I know we have a couple members of the podcast who actually record with some actual organization in Peoria, do sports communications. Right. So who knows? Maybe after you get some more practice, you could talk to them and see what your avenues are. Figure out what they did, and just practice and have fun while you're doing it. That's really all we care about. And don't ruin equipment or ruin Bradley.
Right. Yeah. That'll kind of get into some of the behind the scenes in the next topic. But along what you said, don't sweat it. This is a pretty laid back. What we do is somewhat laid back. I wouldn't say the organizational aspect is laid back because that's what we need to have rock solid. But a lot of these shows, there's no pressure because both of us are just starting out recording. So it's really no pressure to get started on something or join us on the Edge show and talk about what you want to do. So that's sort of the idea. Is hopefully that spurred some ideas in the listeners' minds. Let's look at some upcoming changes / news. I mean, that's what this show is about, I guess.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, there is a group meeting on this Thursday, February 10th at 6:30 p.m.
Whoop whoop.
in Westlake. I'm pretty sure it's Westlake 012. So that's in the basement of Westlake. I wanted to get the big lecture hall because it's really cool, but there's a class in there at that time, so I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But the classroom should be fine. It seats 30. And there we'll cover some of the same stuff we're talking about here. I might go in more into depth into the history and how we transition the organization. And then we'll probably just pull members, or we'll try to get members, have them sign up to the club and our page on Presence, and kind of just see what is everyone thinking on what to do. What ideas do they have? What do they want to help out on? And stuff like that. So I'll be there running and checking people in. Some of the other things that we're working on is we have a group constitution because we need to have that set up to go for just having us be active again in Presence. But we are also developing a code of conduct for broadcasters and the executive board. So if you're going to be broadcasting here in the studio and or posting to our platforms, you need to abide by the code of conduct. So that includes stuff like no hate speech against protected groups, some like facility code of conducts, like no food or open drinks with no lid in the studio, because if an accident happens here, it's not easy to get it replaced quickly. And so among other things that will be in there, and it's just going to kind of serve as a guideline for how all broadcasters and people with influence here at the Edge operate our show. And we want it to be responsible and respectful for everybody that listens and is involved. Also, we'll have a studio log, so we make sure this will kind of not only just audit the room and our assets, but it'll also give us an idea on how long are people spending to record shows, or what is actually being recorded here and whatnot, and seeing what resources are being used. Lastly, we also have our website, which is at edge.bradley.edu. That's where we'll post any shows that were recorded here. So we're looking for help with people that want to write on our website or just kind of design it. as well as any sort of like graphic design people that are willing to make an Edge logo. We have one person that reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I can help you make a pretty good logo for the Edge." But like we're also, I guess we also need like a logo for the Edge podcast and other shows. So if we had someone or a couple people that were interested in doing that, that would be super helpful in just making everything just look a ton better online and wherever the Edge is.
Yeah, definitely. Essentially, if you have a talent or something you're good at doing and you're just interested in doing, come help us, because we need help and people in really any aspect you could think of, like a little mini business.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. I just got back from a business class where we talked about strategic plans and a vision statement. And a strategic plan or mission is technically it's a strategic mission. That's what we're doing right now today in order to get to our vision. And so the vision isn't exactly clear yet because we don't know if we're doing radio or we're going to stick with talk in the fall. If we're going to be trying to go for music in the fall, we have to basically outline that now, and we have many things to do in order to get set to do music broadcasts in the fall. So like a business, we aren't just broadcasters. If it was just broadcasters and not like a studio engineer, we wouldn't be able to buy the right equipment or fix what we have. And if we didn't have someone that knew how to write, we wouldn't be able to do blog posts on the website, or an artist to make some logos for the Edge or for different shows. There's a bunch of different aspects that it doesn't matter what your major is, and that's the nice thing about Bradley is we got a whole bunch of people. You can come in here and basically get involved and make an impact because we want to make this as big as we can. I think anybody can get involved.
I have a question. Is this something we want to eventually open up to grad students at Bradley?
I think so, because I'll be a grad student next year.
So you can stay a part of it, like specifically so you can stay.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fine because I think as far as like things go in presence, we're still technically students. I'm not sure how that works. I mean, I'll still be on campus because I'll be also doing work for the university at the time. I'll also be doing hopefully a different show at the time too. But yeah, I mean, they also, and by grad students, you probably also mean not people just like right out of school like me, but maybe later in either life. Like some people come back to grad school later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like anyone who's attending Bradley in any way, no matter year, age, even if it's after the first original four, like someone getting their master's, they could be 50. And if they're really interested, like, as long as they're not weird. I mean, okay, we're all kind of weird, but right. Like, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I think like because they're technically a student, we have to like make sure with the activities office that sort of thing can work. And, there'll be a process for submitting like a show to the executive board, because I think what would make sense is to have each show reviewed by the executive board to make sure that, one, it's appropriate, and two, like it's not going to like fizzle out and die after like one or two shows. Having some sort of like formal review process to make sure like someone's not coming in here and, breaking the rules or just doing something that's, not really what the Edge is probably wants to be, because I think we do have discretion over that as an organization, and the university has discretion over us. Yeah. So I think that would be in there. You just have to follow our code of conduct and have a good idea and have it cleared with everybody. So I'll definitely have to reach out to that, especially if I'm going to be doing that. So yeah, that's good.
All right, I was just curious. Yeah. I don't know why it popped in my head, but I was like, this is probably important.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I guess let's jump ahead to, along with the upcoming events and behind the scenes, is our organization, our elections, I stated in the Constitution, are in March, just to give like a little bit of time into the semester. I also know that's when some other organizations do it. And so sometime in March, how we'll facilitate that is We might have another meeting before then for all members, but how the polling will work. I used to be in like 2 organizations where the voting was held online. I mean, in person, and so like you just raise your hand to vote for someone. But I feel like trying to coordinate between everyone's schedule is tough. So if we just do a Google form that's tied to everyone's Bradley email, and that just gets sent to members, and we can verify that that the person that voted is a member, we can just do it that way. And that way you can actually just like select like, oh, this person, and then this is like their paragraph of them saying like why they want to do it or something like that. Like maybe we'll do an Edge show and we can just cover like each person and what they want to do or something.
Yeah, interview all the candidates. That's what they're called.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe there aren't going to be like, it's not going to be like that competitive, you know, because I was in an organization where it just basically went from, because there weren't a lot of people because of COVID. I noticed that with COVID, transitions were harder and just membership in general is down. So it was just transitioned to this one other, you know, this other person. And there's a lot of flexibility in what we can do. So like we can add or remove chair positions or change the Constitution, which we might have to do in order to incorporate the code of conduct. So that's coming down the pike for the Edge. We'll discuss that more at the meeting and see what the other members feel. I don't have that much experience like running that sort of stuff. I was only on the executive board in another organization for about a year anyway before this. So I'll definitely, you know, that's where organization help would really be appreciated.
I'll help where I can. Mm-hmm. But I got work and stuff, so...
Yeah, we're all super busy.
So the nice thing about the Edge, though, for anyone thinking about joining, is that we do work really hard to be flexible with everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I have work during this upcoming meeting. I already emailed Ben. Ben and I have talked about it. He's going to send me the minutes. And, like, as he mentioned, we just try to be super flexible. We might send out votes through email. Like, we're going to try and be super flexible as an organization just because everyone's lives are so different, especially with COVID and everything that's happened. So, just a little sneak peek. Sorry to jump in there.
No, that's fine. I was also going to mention that right now we use email to like coordinate activities and whatnot, or meetings. And it makes me think back to when, and I don't remember like where I was reading this. I might have been like on the comments for a news post about Facebook, because Facebook used to be huge with college students. Like everybody in college used Facebook in order to coordinate activities. And I know a few groups do, but I don't use Facebook because none of my friends did. And frankly, as a business, I don't really support them at the moment. So I'm just never going to go to Facebook. But like, so what are people using today to coordinate group activities?
I know there's the issue of, I've had some groups try to go to Snapchat, but then you can only have so many people in a group and things disappear, and there's that issue. And then there's GroupMe, which everything's on, but I've been hearing a lot of people talk smack about some GroupMe. Like, not even as an organization. They just don't like GroupMe. So,
I know.
I don't know.
I mean, as a technology person, this really interests me. Maybe I'll get in depth into this in like a show or something. But like where I'd like it if there was one like central location where this stuff would be able to, where communication could happen amongst a group, and not just like one big group chat, but maybe several smaller group chats or something. So GroupMe's pretty good at it. You know, like people try to do iMessage, but that's iMessage, so it's not going to work for everybody. And you can't text message. And email seems like old. Like, who's going to reply to an email chain or something? So, maybe there's Discord. Yeah. Discord's pretty good. You know, but some people are just kind of reluctant to jump in to do it just for one organization. So
yeah, exactly.
I've seen some hesitancy there. Like we have a Discord, but I mean, I've been reluctant to use it because it's just not. I can't bet on everybody being able to see it. I can bet on everybody being able to see an email going out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably flesh out what's best. It might be GroupMe for now. And I was going to talk about our equipment, but I think that's best reserved for some sort of like history show or in the future, because right now this show is basically just to get the word out about our meeting. what the club is, how to get involved, some ideas we have, and to keep on listening. So I guess this is better time than ever after about 30 minutes of listening. We don't want to ramble on too long. Hopefully I don't have much editing to do. I might add in like an intro music or something from YouTube. But
keep it raw. They could see how amateur we are.
I mean, I might just chop off like the beginning, the end, and one part in the middle where I was finding a document. Mm-hmm. But so definitely stay tuned to our Twitter, which is at BU The Edge. There's like 2 Edge Twitters, but this is the one that I was able to get from the former president who graduated. So the link to this show will be there, and probably some other news. But also check out our website, edge.bradley.edu. That will include, obviously, a link to the show and how to listen, and any sort of show notes that will go along with the show will be included on there, because it's just a blog site, so we can easily include stuff like that. Oh, and in order to join the group, if you're looking to join, you could email butheedge@gmail.com, or better, you can go to bradley.presence.io and fill out the contact or join form there, and you'll automatically be added to the organization and receive anything that we put out, which is email, which we know we can get straight to you, and come by a meeting and pitch us your idea or something.
I recommend Presence because I used Presence a year ago when I was a freshman and the club wasn't even an organization. And then a year later, I got the thing saying, hey, we're starting up again. So definitely use Presence. You'll still be included. So you won't be forgotten, we swear.
Yeah. So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for listening, and stay tuned to The Edge for more info.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.